The Beretta M1934 pistol, which I got from PSA, and the big question is the gun worth it and will it kind of shoot well? Okay, but before we get into it, if you would please subscribe and hit the like button to help the algorithm. So these pistols been around for a while. They've been manufactured from 1934 all the way up to the 80s or so, actually issued until the 90s to certain Army personnel. Or I'm not quite sure what department or where these pistols came from, but the majority of them were made in the 70s. It's the most common dates you're going to find on these. But irregardless, so you're looking at it, and again, price makes a difference. Okay, I'll talk about the pistol here in a second and my experience with it, but just to give you a rundown and why I'm kind of fast tracking these videos is PSA has them, and I believe Royal Tiger has them, and I believe they were the ones that imported most of these, okay, for $199.99 or 200 units or 2 C notes. Okay, which ain't bad. These things were going for about 300, okay, units. Now the thing about them, to get them in, is I told them the story, through the import laws, they had to go and thread on and permanently mount something on the end of the barrels to get a size requirement to allow them to be imported. And I think I remember they were selling these pistols with the fake suppressor, which is just a tube on there. There's no internal components. Somebody asked, how do you clean it with the tube on there? It's just a hollow tube. You just clean it with a regular cleaning rod. They didn't sell, so then they pulled them off. But unfortunately, how they just threaded them on there and half-assed used the high-temp solder, basically you're buying a gun that's damaged, okay? What the World War II original earlier ones run for a little bit more, or about that, about $4 bills, and so that's how they priced them. But as we all know, the market is crashing with all firearms, and now these have gotten to where, and I was always leery of buying one of these because, like I said, you could get them with the barrel still threaded like this one, or you could get one with a brand new replacement barrel, okay, or you can get, a couple fellas had them from our guns where the barrels were shortened and machined, which, by the way, you go to the gun broker, our gun still has a few of these pistols, but they are $325 in terms of units. That would be pushing it up close to the $400 mark after said fees, tax, and everything, probably $375, $380. I got this in hand after paying the fees, I think for $250, okay, units. 2.5, $250. So that's not bad. But I was always wondering how it affects this BS of thread in the barrel, how it affects the performance of the gun. From all the videos I've watched, okay, anyone who has a new barrel put in, the point of impact is high. Like when I have this pistol with the original barrel I bought from PSA, and it is serial number to the gun. So it is the barrel that was originally in this gun, but it has a weird crown and chamfer on the end of the barrel, which is unusual. But from the, as you've seen there, the stain of the solder, that's the way it was before they did this weird crap to it. I went to Atlantic and bought, they were selling barrels that were pulled off. I got 2 of them. And I did this to see if the barrels can readily be interchanged, okay? And they have, their ends are kind of really monkeyed up but it was more cosmetic, and I mean they're beat up, chewed up. I did shoot these, and I was surprised. What happened was, the one that looked in good condition and was serial numbered to a gun shot about 12 to 15 inches high at 17 yards. Okay, you can see that in the video. The one that was really beat up and I thought, you know, wouldn't shoot worth a damn, shot very well. Okay, even though it was tight going in, it was beat up, it had burrs on it, I had to fix it up, but it shot okay. Okay, so there's your, you don't know. There's surplus guns, the new barrels go in, some people had trouble with them. One guy shot his with it threaded as is, and it worked fine. You know, he was hitting what he was shooting at. Some guys with the new barrel had the elevation problem, and most of the fellas that bought the ones that were machined down and cut down, you know, that 3/8 of an inch or whatever, I've seen those guys shoot them and actually hit something, okay? But like I said, our guns is the only company that did that. Most years you were getting off Atlantic either had the threaded barrels or a new barrel installed. Okay, so that was what I seen. A lot of people just make a video, oh, I bought this gun from PSA or whatever, and they just show you the gun, but you don't see them shooting it. I've shot them. I've shot the other barrels in there. Kind of showed you the difference. So, is it worth getting it? Well, in terms of the barrel condition, this one, the original barrel, ended up shooting well. At first it didn't. Now another problem that could exist, even though these people are having difficulty, and I did use a rest, didn't get manly and just sit there and point it. I did use a pistol rest and tried to hold it as steady as I can. A couple strange things about this weapon. I've handled older ones from World War II, both in .32 and .380. And when I went to pick this up from my dealer, of course he took it out, he has to record the serial number, and of course he goes to check the gun to make sure it's not loaded. So he told me I could not rack the slide back no matter how hard I tried unless I pulled the hammer back. So I get it and I said, let me look. And of course this is, the left hand's my weak hand. I really, there it goes. I mean, have to tug on that, okay? We all know about the thing that if you pull the magazine out, and again, all of this stuff is difficult for me to handle with my bad hands. There, it'll slide. So you pull the hammer back, and it is kind of stiff compared to some. I didn't own one, but I've handled some of these. And this, that's pretty stiff. And the way these are designed with the hammer, that's another thing, the trigger pull on this. It's one piece unit with the spring and a whole mechanism goes in the frame that controls the hammer, okay? There's a video out there, you can see it. Now we go to the trigger pull. The trigger pull, and this was part of what I think my problem was. That's got a lot of pressure, some creep to it, and then it goes off. All right. Even on a rest, when I would pull on this, okay, I would flinch down, and I believe that's why the gun shot somewhat low. As I got used to it, and got used to this trigger, and took my time and tried to hold as still as I could, then this gun shot at 17 yards on the mark, okay? It functioned well other than one stovepipe with the original barrel. I only shot like maybe 10 rounds or 12 rounds through each barrel. I didn't put a ton of ammo through this gun. The sights on it, are minuscule. That's another problem, another issue, that even against the white wall there, it's hard to see these sights. They're microscopic, okay? So the sights are tough and they're going to impede your shooting. The trigger in that, at least on this gun, okay, is pretty stiff, hammer stiff like you've seen. It was hard for me to pull that back with the hammer down. So, you know, I think those are also factors that detract from the accuracy until you sit down there, get used to it, have a rest, and just concentrate on how to grip this. This is a tiny gun, okay? You can see that, it barely fits in my hand. This is a nice little compact gun. Now, the only other thing that happened is once I started like getting my grip up and getting a hold of it, when the hammer comes back, I had, if you see that little dot there, it bit me in the web of my, the little blood blister. It bit me in the web of my hand towards the end of the shooting session. When I got up onto it, held it, and was trying to get my trigger control, when that hammer comes back, okay, it caught the skin. So, and with a lot of these small handguns, that's an issue. That may have been part of some of the inaccuracy problems, but once I kind of got into it and was where this was shooting and hitting the bullseye, I realized that this one barrel probably was going a little to the left, which could have been me, but they were all over there. This may need the crown touched up, and I may just machine this off for the hell of it. Now this other one, once we go out again, I'll bring this other barrel that was shooting way high or low, and maybe I will recrown this barrel just to double check. But, so the question is it worth buying? Well, I lucked out. Some people have gotten these guns, have cracked grips, some other issues with them, and you know how bad the end of the barrel is. Like I said, this one here doesn't look too good, but it's still shot somewhat alright, you know. This came, you know, somebody went and put a new barrel in and pulled this off. So you don't know, like with most surplus guns, until you buy the gun and actually go out and shoot the damn thing. You may have something like this that with a little practice and getting used to it, this is shooting right out. I am happy for what I paid for this, okay, and how it works. Alright, you may get one that, irregardless, whether it's a new barrel that's been threaded, whatever, it may not shoot well. That's why you don't, you know, the thing is there's a lot of people that make videos talking about this gun and, you know, they didn't pay much for them. Actually, that's a pretty damn good price. You know, $2 for something made out of metal. It's older, collectible. Unfortunately, you know, this threaded barrel thing, but that's how it happens. Would I recommend buying one at that price with the prices dropping that low, especially if you catch a flash sale? I'd say yeah, okay, go for it. But be aware, you could get one that may not work that well in terms of accuracy. That's what I was worried about. Are these barrels, you know, screwed up and will not shoot accurate? That's why I held off on buying these, and I'm glad I did, because I didn't pay close to $4 for it, and it does work. And saving that extra money kind of leaves me in a position where I can accessorize, and that's something, and you got to be careful there. Spare mags for these, I've seen them, people are asking 80, 100 units. Okay, you got to look around. I do not know of anybody that has them. There should be somewhere where you can get a spare. You really don't need one, and I don't believe that they're worth 80, 100 units. Okay, they're not that rare of a gun either. So that may do, you know, you might have to search to find something on there for that. That was the only other issue, is availability of spare mags, and the cost of them, and what people are asking for them is ridiculous. Okay, so that's my thoughts on it. If you're on the fence, okay, if you're the type of person that don't like taking risks and would really get upset if the thing didn't quite work out right, or if you didn't have to take it somewhere and have it recrowned or something, then I wouldn't go for it. But if you can live with it, and like I said, this, even if this thing was in perfect condition, it's kind of a difficult gun to shoot to begin with because of the small size and these stiff springs and stuff in here. I don't know if these were reworked or that's the way that it's been made. The gun looks almost new. I mean, mine has no wear or nothing on it. You know, these guns don't look like they were abused or heavily used either. Okay, it's a shame they had to do that to the barrels, but you know, what can I say? If you're willing to take a chance, I'd go for it. At that price, I mean, you know, you can't beat it. I don't think they're going to go, well, they did go 20 units lower during the flash sale, so that's my input on it. I hope you found this answered your questions, and we will get out and do some more work with this gun in future videos. All right, thank you.